Hi and welcome to this video. In the previous video, we have learned about lists in theory. In this video, we are going to do the same in Python code. So first of all, we already know how to create a new list. You give list a name, here in this case, my underscore list. You write the equal sign, and also this is known as assignment operator. And then you start the square bracket. You will give all the values that you want your list to have and then give the closing square bracket to indicate that the list is complete. So when we run this mylist command, mylist variable now has all the values as a list. Now you might remember that we were talking about the fact that list is an ordered data structure. That means each of the elements of the list has an index associated with it. There is a bit more information to this. There are actually two sets of indexes associated for each value in the list. The first one is the regular index. It starts from 0 and then goes till to the last element. So if there are 10 values from 1 to 10, each element has an index like starting from 0, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, 1 has an index of 0, 2 has an index of 1, and so on. Apart from this, each element also has a negative index. So a negative index starts at -1 for the last element, and it keeps on increasing in magnitude till you reach the first element. So there are 10 elements. So because this starts with -1, it will go from -1 to -10, just like the regular index starts from 0 and it goes from 0 to 9. So let's see, this is your list and you want to print the element that lies at the first index of the list. So at the first index, when you look at the table, we have the value of 2. Let's run this. So we get the value 2. Now what will happen if I give the index of -2? Let's run this. When you look at the table, now from the table, you can clearly see that -2 is actually the index of value 9. And when we execute this line, we get a value of 9. So if we wanted to have the value of 2 in negative index, we had to give, let me just create a new line here and see, and we will write here my list and square brackets -9. And when you run this, you will have 2. Now the next topic is list slicing. We already know that if we give a syntax like this, like we start from 1 to 4, and use a colon in between, we get a part of list as output. Let's run this. So let's see our original list. I have started with the first index. At the first index we have 2. Then I have given the fourth index here as the ending value. And you want to exclude the fourth index. So therefore we have the output of 2, 3, and 4. And you want to exclude 5 because 5 is in the fourth index. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we are excluding 5, but we are starting with the first index, which is 2, 3, and 4. Now another interesting thing about list slicing is you can actually not give any value here. And let's run this. And what will happen is, as you can already see, it will just print the entire list as it is. Apart from giving the first column, you can also give another column here inside the square bracket. So let's see what happens if we run this cell. So nothing has happened. I'm just getting the same list. Now basically the second column lets you define the step size. If you remember the range function in for loop, you will remember step size basically means how many numbers we need to skip at each step in order to give the output. So if I give a step size of 1, I'm just skipping one number, which is I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm skipping just one index each and I'm getting the values. Here in the second case, if I give a step size of 2, let's run this. You will see that I have started from 0 index, then I've skipped the first index, I have gone to the second index directly. So from 0 directly I'm going to the 2, 0 index is 1, second index is 3. Then from 2 I'll directly go to the fourth index and then I go to the sixth index. So this is how we get the values here. And here the 1 is the 0th index, this is the second index, and this is the 4th index, this is the 6th index, and so on. The step size of 2 means that you are increasing the index by which you print the number by 2 at each step. Now, if you combine all of this together, you'll basically get a value here from 2 to 4, index 2, and ending index is 5, and step size is 1. Let's run this. You will get index 2, which is 3, index 3, which is 4, and index 4, which is 5. If you change the step size 2 here, from starting from 2 to 5, and you have step size of 2, let's run this one. You have only 3 and 5. This is the 2nd index, and this is the 4th index. Similarly, when you are giving a range as a starting index and the ending index, you can actually give either one or both of these ranges, or the starting index and ending index as -2. So in this case, starting index is 2, ending index is -2. Let's go back to the table and find out which is the 2nd index. So the value 3 is on the 2nd index, and value 9 is on the -2 index. So therefore, the output should include 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but not including 9. So let's run this code and see what we will have. So we have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, which is -2 index. So here we have one cool fact. If you do not give any start index or the ending index, but if you give the step size as -1, which basically means you want to print the entire list, but you want to start from the last index and you want to keep on decreasing the index by -1, then this clever technique essentially gives you the entire list in the reverse order. Now, this is a very useful shortcut that we use a lot when we want to reverse the list in Python. Let's go to the next aspect of a list, that is how you can add elements to a list. So we have this list initially, which is my list, and you want to add the value 3 in the ending of the list. So as we have seen in the theory part, you can use the append function. So you're going to write mylist.append. In the parentheses, you'll type 3. Now, when you run this code, it's going to append 3 at the end of the list. And let's run one more time list. When we print the list, you will see that the 3 has been added to the ending of the list. Now, if you use the append function with another list as the parameter, what will happen is the second list will just get added to the first list as a value itself. This situation is actually known as a nested list. So here we have another list in the square bracket, and it has 2 values, 1 and 2, and we want to append this 1 and 2 to my list. Let's run this cell and see what happens. As you see here, 1, 2 as a list is added another variable in the list. Now, if you want to prevent this situation, if you just want to merge 2 lists, suppose you had initially this list 2, 2, 3, 4, and you want to merge this list with my list, then this time you are going to use extend function, not append function. So mylist.extend, in the parentheses, you will include the second list. And let's run this. You will see that 2, 2, 3, 4, all items in the list are added at the end of the list as variables. In short, it has extended the initial list with these values. So these two functions, append and extend, they have their own use cases when you do real-world programming. Over time, you are going to learn more about them in detail, but for now, these are very important functions to remember. Thank you.